All right, the Dogs with a 55-0 win over the Vanderbilt Commodores. This is one of the best games Georgia's played. Look, the preseason segment of Georgia's season is over. They will now be confronted with a very challenging slate uh, and games that will determine how far they go in this college football season. I don't think you need me to tell you that Tennessee took out Alabama tonight on the last play of the game. So Georgia has got to deal with Florida. You get a week off. You got an emotional game against the Gators, and then you've got the Vols coming to town, probably as a top 5 team. It's going to be a huge game, whether Georgia beats Florida or not, and they probably should handle Florida pretty decisively. It's going to be a huge matchup. If they play like they did today, they'll beat Tennessee. They'll probably beat everybody they play. So this is an important moment in the season. There are a lot of injured guys that are going to have the capability to get back. We will see if they do. Lad McConkey was okay. Xavier Truss was okay. But, when does Georgia get A.D. Mitchell back? It sure seems like he wants to play. When does Georgia get Jalen Carter back? I don't know. I don't know the answer to these questions. Smile Munden looks like he probably will play against the Gators. I don't know. But Georgia does need to get right. Stetson said after the game he felt good. This Georgia team is going to be probably the number 1 team in the country if they keep winning. It's irrelevant. They've got huge showdowns from here on out. Again, the preseason scheduling is over, and this is a challenging part of the year. Anytime you go to Jacksonville, that's a fight. It's just what it is. Tennessee has to always be taken seriously. I'm just going to say this. I remember very clearly a year ago when I made the comment about playing Tennessee and Florida back-to-back and how difficult that was going to be. And, of course, you had the moron class on social media talk about how, Tennessee's no good or whatever. Well, here we are 12 months later, and you've got the Gators, Tennessee back-to-back. It's going to be a physical fight, lest we forget that Georgia plays on the road at Mississippi State. This is going to be extremely challenging for Georgia. With that said, every single night we go home, we're looking for places to eat. Let's just say I want Popeyes tonight. Look, it's almost 9 o'clock by the time I don't want to cook. So our friends at DoorDash got you covered. Great offer. Don't fast forward. For a limited time, our listeners can get 50% up to 50% off of a $20 value and a zero delivery fees when you download the DoorDash app, and the enter code is DAWG, D-A-W-G, just like the dogs, just don't put the S in there. That's 50% off a $20 value and zero delivery fees. Y'all, that is an amazing deal. You got to download the DoorDash app, enter the code DAWG. Don't forget the code is DAWG for 50% off of the $20 of up to a $20 value with no delivery fees with our friends from DoorDash. Subject to change, terms apply. Tonight we are not going to want to go cook. We don't want drive-through. We want to get home and do our work. That's what DoorDash is for. Download the app. The code is DAWG. All of you need to do that. Take advantage of this today. I know you're probably watching this on Sunday. You get out of church or whatever, you watch the NFL, check it out. DAWG, DoorDash, our friends at DoorDash, thank you. So, for me, the goal was 650 yards and 50 points. They hit the 55. Carson Beck looked good. Let's just be honest. Carson looked good. 8 of 11, 98 yards, 2 touchdowns. Stetson, it was a good game for Stetson Bennett. 24-30, 289, 2 touchdowns. He was sacked twice. And then, you got Edwards for 49 yards, Kenny for 43 rushing, Cash Jones with 36. That's a huge, he'll never forget that. Branson Robinson was not as dominant as he was a week ago, but still Georgia winds up with almost 200 yards rushing. Going into the half, it was nearly 300 to 100. So Georgia was kind of on pace for the 600 yards of offense. That's just me. And again, as I said, the whole week, it's going to be really, really tough to pull off. But hey, it's just what it is, y'all. If you are good, you play like you did tonight. So here we are 7 games into this. This is the actual midpoint of Georgia's season, +1. So, you know, we're at a moment in time here where, again, I consistently say this. It's not who you play, it's how you play. Now you've got the Vols coming up in a few weeks. You've got the Gators and Georgia's most important rivalry, really, which is Florida. They would love to ruin Georgia's season. Right now, they're kind of in a fight. They're tied late in the second with LSU as I read this. I mean, the Gators totally can win that game and arrive in Jacksonville with a bit of momentum. But if you ever thought this was going to be easy, you've not been paying attention. This team is not last year's team, and last year's team didn't have it easy. Okay? Alabama's not dead, but that, like, it kind of all is added up against them. Like, it's kind of, I picked Alabama to win tonight, but I'm not surprised they lost. I don't think anybody who reads us or watches us, feels, like that's some sort of surprise. Georgia totally can lose to State. They can lose to Tennessee. I mean, I think they could lose to Florida and Kentucky. I'm not sure that I would suggest that, but, after tonight, one thing the Dog Post crew was talking about is there's not a lot of, like, wiggle room. Like, you got to do it. And, like, there's not going to be any backing into Atlanta. There's not going to be any backing into the playoff. Georgia's going to have to win their way in. And, Steve Hummer asked Kirby tonight about the Braves losing and, yada, yada, yada. And, Kirby's point was it's really hard to win it twice in a row. He knows. When you think about that Alabama group from 12 to 11, 11 to 12, I mean, that was a challenging time, and they did it. They did it with a couple of losses, but they did it. So that's why I'm not quite certain that Alabama's dead. I'm not quite certain that the loser of Georgia-Tennessee would be dead. Let's not forget that Tennessee has to deal with Kentucky, who they should beat, but they still have to deal with them, and that'll be a real physical game for the Vols, an emotional game just like Georgia and Florida. So CBS is going to – I'm not reporting this, but CBS is definitely going to have Georgia-Tennessee. The matchup, if both the two teams keep it the way they should, that game's going to be, CBS, 10, 12 million people watch that game. It's going to be a clash of, 1 versus, 4, 5, 3, 2. We don't know. This Georgia defense, what's going to be, there's a couple of things that are going to be different for everybody who plays Georgia from here on out. Number one, they got to deal with Georgia's defense. That's not really easy to do, okay? So these guys tonight, now it's Vanderbilt, and people say, oh, it's Vanderbilt, whatever. They only permitted 150 yards of total offense for Vanderbilt. 150 yards, y'all. Like that, I'm just reading that. I want to make sure I got that right. Like that's tough. Like, that's not what you want. And that is not ideal. And I don't have the drive chart. I don't want to pull that up or anything like that because of the streaming that I'm doing to my computer. But it looks like Georgia scored multiple times in each quarter. 3 times in the fourth, twice in the third, twice in the second, and twice in the first. I know they did not score all 3 possessions in the first. I don't know if these guys are getting it rolling the way that you want. I don't know. It looks like it. Again, that DoorDash code is DAWGS, is DAWG, D-A-W-G. Don't put the S in there. D-A-W-G, DAWG. Download the app. Get your 50% off, $20 value, 0 delivery fee. That's a hell of a deal. And we are doing that tonight. I can assure you of that. We are doing that tonight with DoorDash. So is Georgia playing the way that you want? Yeah, to me, they are. 7 of 7 on red zone scoring opportunities. I did like the going forward on fourth down there. Georgia had 40 minutes of possession time, only 3 penalties, y'all. That's the sort of stuff that you saw in the Alabama game, Tennessee, Alabama. You did not see that with Georgia tonight. So Georgia was playing very clean. It was impressive, and that you are entering this week as healthy in theory as you have been in a little bit of time because you didn't get anybody healthy or hurt today. That really matters. Hey, one other thing, real quick, too. Listen, man, this field is just exceptional. And I mean, I'm not just saying that. And we've got a few weeks before Georgia plays back here, 3 weeks, but um, it's just a beautiful field. That group does a heck of a job. I'm telling you, it is the softest grass in the league. It is the softest grass in the league. I want to see what happens at state, but it is the softest grass in the league that I've seen. And sometimes it's a beautiful surface, and they've done a heck of a job making it really nice for y'all. I mean, the hedges look great. The hedges look new, but the hedges look great. This Georgia's done a heck of a job being first class, and you see it on the field too. It's the week off. This team desperately needs a week off. I mean, bad. And I know I speak for myself when I say I'm very eager for a non-Georgia home or non-Georgia football week. But all this going home early, that's that stuff's probably over for this year. I mean, Georgia's going to really need its fans from here on out. Whether you talk about in Jacksonville, which is an emotional journey. It's an emotional journey. They're going to need their fans in Jacksonville. They're going to need their fans big time against the Vols. Now, everybody knows Tennessee can score. They've not dealt with a team like Georgia's defense. They've not. But everybody knows, and Georgia's not dealt with that offense. So, they've not. I mean, Oregon can really score too. Okay, if we're being intellectually honest here, Oregon can really, really score. Are they Tennessee right now? I don't know. I don't know about that part. But it's just like a heavyweight fight. There are consequences to the results, and I don't think Alabama's out of it. I don't. But I'm not kind of naive either. I mean, I've watched Alabama enough to know that they are not the best team in the country. Um, I mean, if they were the best team in the league, I think they would have won tonight. I anticipated that they would win tonight. Um, but this is not going to get easier for Georgia. It's not going to get easier necessarily for Tennessee. I don't know who they've got from here on out, but excuse me, the Vols from here on out have got, UT Martin. Well, Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, back to back for Tennessee. That is going to be, a fight. That's just all there is to it. That's going to be challenging for them. They got to go to Georgia, but and they got to go to South Carolina. I don't see that happening. But that's me. So I don't know. I think for the Dogs, you're getting into the part of the season where you need to play well, and they're playing well. You're getting towards the part of the season where you kind of need to be feeling good. It looks like they're feeling good. I do think this was the happiest Georgia looked all season, frankly, to me. They were having a ton of fun out there. So, but this is a journey, and the preseason is over, and the tough stretch is here. Now, they should still win all these games, but I don't. It's not up to me. It's up to them, and it's how they perform, and really, it's how they prepare and move forward in a big way. When they needed Jack Penesley, he was there. When Stetson, when you want Stetson to play well, he played well today. And no, Vanderbilt's not a great team. I understand that. I'm well aware of their, failures, for lack of a better term. But, Georgia needs to play like they did tonight. If they do, there's no team that they, will lose to necessarily. There's no team they can't beat. But make no mistake about it. This is about to get a lot tougher. DoorDash app, DAWG, 20% off, 50% off. $20 order, zero delivery fee. Thanks for watching.